Hello again. So I updated my operating system on my hard disk, my SSD, to FreeBSD 14.1 patch level 1, and it was really fast, really easy. It only had one problem, which was X did not want to start. And it turned out I had an xorg.conf file which selected the Radeon driver, which was in my old PC. I have here an NVIDIA, which you need different kernel module, but you don't need to you really don't need xorg.conf anymore. So I looked at the log file and realized, oh yeah, of course that's it. It's specified somewhere that it uses the Radeon driver, and so I got garbled stuff on the screen. It was junk. And then it turned out, it loads the Radeon driver because of xorg.conf. Just moved xorg.conf and changed the name, and everything worked. It was easy. It's not like, as I mentioned in the previous video, yeah, it's difficult to install, etc. It isn't. Also, updating is really easy from one to another and fast with an SSD. I thought long ago it used to take a lot longer. But now let's go to something else. So I made some connections between free software, open software, Linux in particular, and what you see also in politics, oppressive people. That's what you get. Idealists in particular are almost always oppressive, and you see them in politics. You see them in free software. The Free Software Foundation actually is oppressive by nature in the goals that it states, which is to make it such that all software is free in the sense that they consider free. It's oppressing your will onto others, and that's what guys like this do. So one guy made a comment, and it's interesting. Here, you are utterly, you know what you mean, what I mean, what Putin has to do with Linux. Well, I explained this in this video exactly what it is. It is oppressive people. And of course, he's talking about himself. People almost always, if they accuse someone of something, they talk about themselves because they show their mindset. You're talking about yourself. This has to do with personalities. You can educate yourself or go play in your sandpit. Yeah, you have these idealists, and they are in various places. They're not just in free software, and not just in Linux. They're everywhere in society. So I make these connections, and I explain it in this video, and this idiot doesn't understand it. Unbelievable! It's the same as this video that I made about the supernova dynamo lights, the latest one. What was it called? I don't remember the name. I haven't used it for quite a while. Anyway, it has a very uneven beam, and I said, yeah, in a video that I made about it in the Netherlands, on a good road mostly, that yeah, it looks okay here, but it's very uneven beam, and on bad roads you need an even beam to see the unevenness and thus evade the bad patches. And then someone made a comment, which is not in bad faith. It was a good comment, but absolutely not understanding what I said in the video, because he said, yeah, when you're on bad roads, then you won't see or notice the unevenness in the beam anymore. So I thought, yeah, but I stated in the video what the point is. You need the evenness in the beam to see where the bad patches in the road are. It's not that it is something aesthetic. It's not, I want to see an even beam because that is nice to see. No, I want an even beam because you need that to see the bad patches in the road. And otherwise you don't know whether the unevenness is from the beam or from the bad road. This is the same. I explain it in the video, the connection, and this idiot doesn't understand it. What can you do with that? Let's look at this. Here it shows again what has guys like Putin to do with free software, with Linux. Well, you see it here. He analyzed it a bit. He makes some good videos. I think they're too long, not really that interesting, but he does some good stuff. And it's, for example, here on the left, the right-wing people are the least predisposed towards banning and oppressing free speech, the center a bit more, the left the most. It's because they're idealists, quite a lot. There are quite a lot of them, especially in the power positions, which means they want to change society, change things in life or change things in their group, which means also they want to oppress others. They want to enforce their views, which is the same what happens in Russia, for example. You get a government that oppresses, enforces their views, does not allow free speech, does not allow dissent. It's exactly the same thing. Putin is an idealistic psychopath, is what I call him, and a lot of people in power positions here are maybe not psychopaths, but often autistic. And autistic people follow rules, and they follow rules because they can't deal with complexity. And you see, I've given some examples. For example, a guy came to see my house. I had not put it on the market yet, but I told many people, or some people around me, and they told it further it's a small town. It was a village, but it grew a bit more, that I was going to sell. And some guy came with his wife, and he talked a bit, and he was like a gardener, but something like that. And he mentioned something about a few trees that had blown over in a storm, and he said, "Yeah, that will always happen next to a ditch. So there's a small water. There's a tree exactly next to it. Of course, the roots can't go in that direction towards the water, which means if there's a strong wind in this direction, then it'll fall over. But it only happened because the city council had actually removed a whole bunch of trees, almost a small forest, just on the other side, which means there was no wind shade anymore." And I said that, and I think it got him annoyed. I said, "Yeah, I know physics. I know how it works. I don't need some gardener to tell me how everything works." Then he went. That probably annoyed him. It definitely annoyed him. And then he looked inside in the main living room, and there was stuff installed there, which is for renovation, like laminate for on the floor, wood, other things. It was not finished. And he got agitated, and he said, "That's not a house." And then I realized, he's autistic. And that's because they follow rules, and the rules is a house, a living room. You have chairs, couch, table, things like that. And it did not have those things, so it's not a house. It's like his sense of organization was not fulfilled, and he could not deal with it. And such people follow rules. And what you get if you get such people, autists, in leading positions, then they follow rules. And the rule at the moment in society is all this woke shit. Things have to be a certain way, which also means oppressive, which means you can see that in moderation, on moderators, that they behave like that. I showed that on my website about candle power forums, for example, that these autistic moderators are woke and antisocial and oppressive. And they want to enforce their view of how things should be. They should not be allowed in any positions of power, as I mentioned in my video, and antisocial people in general should not be allowed in any position of power. Okay, open source is anti-free speech. He gives a lot of examples. Let's go to this. This is also interesting. How did this happen? Why are these people at the head of most open source organizations? Because it's what college graduates think these days. There's an indoctrination from education, and this is also why, and that's what I wanted to teach in school. And the people there, as I mentioned in one of the videos, were absolutely not interested in proper analysis, and proper analysis is what I wanted to teach. And I will give an example soon of a video about psychology, an evolutionary psychologist who says something about why men do not look at their wives or girlfriends when talking about certain topics. And she says it's from evolution, and I say, bullshit. I know exactly from what it comes, and I will tell you the whole analysis, how it works. And analysis is what these people in psychology also do not understand at all. At all, it's absolutely crazy, but it's not being taught properly. Not in school, not even at university. To general analysis that you can apply to anything. And you can also compare things and see connections. Connections are very important. There are people who like to create values, and those in the DNA leads them to administrative tasks, of course. Let's see. Similar process plagues Wikipedia. There are people who never contribute, only moderate, and their heavy-handed approach brightens their day. Brightens their day. It's like they need the world to conform to their views. So often these are autists or super Aspergers, as someone called them. I have a few pages on my website about this. About moderators and their how they behave. Candle Power Forums was one of them, which I then boycotted. And I wrote all that on my website. Maybe I'll put a link with this video. Let's see. Here says, application of a law whose name I don't know in any bureaucracy for promoting a thing. The people in charge and who run the bureaucracy are the most incompetent because those who think well are too busy doing it already to worry about promoting the thing. For example, coding, if there's an org for coding, the people in the charge are the worst coders and make the worst decisions because they're not coders. I think that's not really it. But that's an interesting thing. So someone mentions the Peter principle, which is that people get promoted to where they are incompetent. And I think the first time I heard this was the head of Hewlett Packard, Carly Fiorina, long ago, 2005 or so, who got sacked. And she was incompetent. It's just like a secretary getting promoted all the time and doing things that she can't do. But it's not as if, I don't understand the whole concept of promotion, because you should be doing a job that you're good at. And doing one thing does not imply that you're good at the other thing. Of course, if you're good at something, then the feeling is, we can give him a promotion. Why is a manager considered promotion over a programmer? A programmer does the most essential job. It's not the same as with a factory where someone does menial labor and can easily be replaced. A programmer cannot just easily be replaced. Whereas actually with, for example, managers can easily be replaced. They don't really have, maybe have some good organizational skills, some of them, but most don't. I know of a company, for example, where a friend of a relative worked, and the managers were absolutely incompetent. He knew everything worked. It was about, for example, outfitting lorries with kits for whatever they were doing, stainless steel boxes, and in which you put whatever you need for that particular type of work that they were doing. Could be toolkits with various things. And of course, if you have a lot of stuff, then you need to organize that in your inventory. That's such as the heavy stuff is down low usually. And the most used stuff should be also low and close to you, close to where you start. Things like that. And the managers just don't know this at all. It's really weird. Anyway, and it's called the Peter Principle. I heard it probably around 2005 in relation to Hewlett Packard. And before that, long ago already, I think in school, maybe when I was studying physics, there was an idea that I had, and it was like, why is there even a promotion? Why is that a thing? If you're better at one job, for example, you're good at repairing things, then it makes sense that someone who does things knows more to fix more types of devices, for example, different types of computers or electrical devices, whatever it is. Someone who can do more or who does more per day in repairs. He is better, which means it's fair to pay him more because you need fewer of such people. And someone who's not very good at it, yeah, it's logical that he does not get as much money, but it's not logical to promote him to a manager, because managing is very different from repairing. So I thought, my view before I heard about this Peter principle, was already, yeah, the whole concept of promotion is nonsensical in most cases. And that's the essence. The essence is not that people get promoted. I looked at the hierarchy, how it is considered a hierarchy in principle, and thought, yeah, that does not make sense. Okay, follow the money, the Peter principle. Yeah, that's sort of, but he means something else. In any case, you have a lot of issues, and it's all about behavior. So yes, of course, you can make connections between free source Linux and politics, a psychopath starting a war, because the behavior is similar. Anyway, that's it for now. Bye.